On a peaceful village road amidst the lush green fields of rural Vietnam, there's a little duckling with pale yellow feathers. Barely hatched was the weakest in its brood. With short legs and sparse downy feathers, the duckling followed a 10-year-old girl named Mighty. The little duckling thought was its mother. Might grew up in the countryside, where the chirping of birds and the rustling of the wind through the rice paddies became a familiar tune. Every morning she woke up early to help her mother in the fields. While helping to feed the ducks, she noticed the little duck standing alone, looking different from the others. Its feathers were ruffled, and it looked as weak as a tiny yellow ball when I extended her hand. The duckling immediately waddled over, gently nuzzling into her palm. I giggled softly, stroking the duckling. The little duckling followed closely behind Julie in the morning, as I carried her basket along the path to the fields. The duckling trotted after her, its tiny legs never tiring. Its small feet left faint imprints in the dirt behind her sandals. The countryside was always peaceful by the side of the little duckling, and became a familiar scene for everyone in the village. They often teased my calling her the duckling, laughing when they saw the duckling following her like a shadow. On rainy days, when the drizzle pattered down on the dirt road, forming small puddles, I would hurry along under her conical head to avoid getting wet. The little duck, however, paid no mind to the weather. It continued to trot behind her, its tiny wings flapping out for balance as it skated through puddles. Every evening, as the sun set and the fields were bathed in a golden glow, I would sit by the edge of the rice paddies, taking in the peaceful scenery. The little duckling curled up beside her, its eyes half closed, as if savoring the safety of being next to its dear mother. The village bustled with preparations for harvest season. Every neighing and old was busy racing against time to bring in the rice before the heavy rains arrived. I joined in helping her mother tie the sheaves of rice. The little duckling never strayed far from her side, but as I became absorbed in the work, then she didn't notice the sky turning gray and the wind beginning to pick up. A sudden downpour struck, sending everyone scrambling to gather their things. Me, holding the last bundle of rice, frantically looked around for the duckling, but it was nowhere to be seen. Her heart sank, and she raced across the field, calling out, "Duck, little duck," but there was no response. The rainwater rose then, and the current became stronger. Me kept running, her feet caked in mud, tears mixing with the rain. It wasn't until dusk that she finally heard a faint quack from afar. She rushed toward the sound, and her heart leapt with joy when she saw the little duckling struggling to swim against the current. I dashed over and carefully lifted the duckling. It was shivering its watery eyes looking at her, but then it quickly nestled into her arms, like a child reunited with its mother. I held the duckling tightly, warmth despite them both being soaked. From that day little duckling continued to follow me like a shadow. No one knew what the future held, but I believed that wherever they went, and her little duck would always have each other. On those peaceful village roads, this story symbolizes a small but tender bond of unconditional love between a little girl and her duckling, a simple yet heartwarming image set against the familiar backdrop of the beloved Vietnamese countryside.